Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're diving into a really cool new way to teach AI. And it's all built on this idea that maybe, just maybe, collaboration is the secret sauce for the next big leap in artificial intelligence.
So let's just jump right in. It sounds a bit weird, right? But think about it. For the longest time, the way we've trained AI has been, well, a pretty lonely affair. And that whole isolated approach, it's actually created this huge bottleneck for the entire field.
You see, there's this really powerful method for making AI smarter called reinforcement learning. But here's the catch. It is insanely expensive and complicated. You need these massive, perfectly synchronized supercomputers to pull it off, which basically means most researchers and developers are just left on the sidelines.
And it's not just about the money. This whole centralized setup is also pretty fragile. It's like having a giant brain with all these different parts trying to talk to each other at once. It creates communication jams. You need all this super specialized infrastructure just to keep it from falling apart. And a system like that really limits who can get in the game and push AI forward.
Okay, but what if we flip the script? Instead of one giant, pricey brain, what if you had a whole swarm of smaller ones, all learning at the same time from each other? Well, that's the big idea behind a brand new algorithm called SAPO, which stands for Swarm Sampling Policy Optimization.
Think of it like the ultimate study group, right? Instead of one person banging their head against the wall trying to solve every single problem, you have everyone tackling different pieces. They share their notes, their attempts, their failures, and the second one person has that aha moment, boom, it spreads through the whole group instantly. That's a swarm.
Okay, so how does this sharing thing actually work in practice? Well, the really beautiful thing about SAPO is that it all comes down to a super simple, really elegant loop that just keeps going.
Now, what's truly mind-blowing about this is that the whole thing is completely decentralized and asynchronous. What does that mean? It means there's no boss, no central coordinator telling everyone what to do. The AIs can even be running on totally different gear. One could be on a supercomputer, another on a regular old laptop. It just works.
The notes they share are called rollouts. And that's just a fancy word for their attempts at solving a problem. Their experiences, you could say. The genius part is that they're shared as plain old text. That's it. So the system doesn't care what kind of AI model or computer it came from. It's like a universal language for learning.
Okay, this all sounds great on paper, right? But the billion-dollar question is, does it actually work? Well, to find out, the researchers over at the Jensen AI team decided to put it to the test.
So here's what they did. They got a small swarm of 8 identical language models. And they gave them a bunch of tough reasoning problems to solve. We're talking logic puzzles, math problems, the whole 9 yards. And the goal was super simple. Who learns faster? The AIs training all by themselves, or the AIs training together as a team?
This is it. This is the moment of truth. What was the difference in performance really? Did this whole sharing thing actually make a difference compared to the old school go-it-alone method?
Well, the results were, honestly, they were staggering. The best setup for the swarm showed a 94% improvement in cumulative rewards over the models that were training by themselves. Let that sink in. That is nearly double the performance just from sharing their homework.
And this chart just lays it all out perfectly. Look at that. On the left, that's the total reward the lonely AIs got. And on the right, that's the swarm. After 2,000 rounds of training, it wasn't even a competition. The swarm just learned so much more effectively. The difference is night and day.
And this quote from the team really hits the nail on the head. The key takeaway is that when one of these AIs has a breakthrough, that aha moment, it doesn't keep it to itself. It gets shared, and instantly the entire group benefits. It's like a shortcut that pulls everyone up together.
But hold on, it's not quite as simple as just share everything all the time. Turns out, to get these amazing results, you need to find the perfect balance. It's a bit of a Goldilocks situation.
Yeah, the researchers found that sweet spot, that Goldilocks zone. The absolute best performance came from a 50-50 split, learning half the time from its own attempts and half the time from what the rest of the swarm was doing. If they shared too little, they missed out on those game-changing insights. But if they shared too much, well, things actually got kind of chaotic and they started to forget what they'd learned.
And this really shows that even though collaboration is this superpower, individual effort is still absolutely critical. You can't just copy everyone else's notes. Each AI still has to do its own homework to make sure it's actually learning and to make sure the stuff it shares is high quality. If you rely too much on others, you can actually drag the whole group down with bad ideas.
So, what does this all mean for the bigger picture? Well, this discovery that you can train AI this way, collectively,
It blows the doors wide open for the future of AI development.
I mean, the paper throws out some wild ideas. Think about a future where AI isn't just one giant all-knowing tool. Instead, imagine this buzzing ecosystem of different AIs. You've got your math specialists over here, your coding gurus over there. You could even have humans jumping into the swarm and sharing their experiences. Or what about AIs that share images and sounds and start to develop a collective sense of taste or artistic style? The possibilities are just huge.
At the end of the day, this research is about more than just a new training method. It really pushes us to think beyond the brute force approach of just building bigger, more expensive models. It's asking a much deeper question about learning itself, not just for machines, but maybe for us too. That's all for this explainer. I hope you'll join us next time as we break down another big idea. Goodbye.